Hey everybody, DeLongShot Signatures here. This is a draft prospects video. I have 20 autographs to share with you guys of potential 2024 NFL draft names that could be taken this year. A number of these guys probably won't. There's a good chance about 12 or 13 could be drafted, maybe a couple more, but doubtable on that. But the draft combine, I believe, is just wrapped up, and a number of players are beginning to not participate in that. So we'll see what that does to the draft going forward, because I feel like that's going to be a more common trend for some of the top athletes to not participate for injury concerns. But a few surprising names that will not be included in this video because they did not declare for the NFL draft. A lot of them returning to school or retiring from football. But Kobe Bryant will be going back to Kansas for another season. Grayson McCall transferred, I believe, to NC State, so he will not be entering the draft. Tyler Shuck transferring to Louisville. He will not be part of the draft. JT Daniels retired due to injuries. And then one name that I can't find anything for is Jason Henderson of Old Dominion, the nation's leading tackler the past 2 years. So not sure if he just didn't declare or if he's coming back for another year. Not 100% sure, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, but he will not be in this video. So we are using draft tags, rankings, and we are going to go from the lowest ranked to the highest ranked player that I currently have. So the first one that we have is a wide receiver. He is the 400th second ranked prospect and 36 overall in wide receivers. Is Coastal Carolina's Sam Pinckney. I believe he was a transfer to Coastal Carolina. Put up some decent numbers, and along with Grayson McCall, the Coastal Carolinas had a good passing offense, but they've never really been stellar, which is part of the reason that Grayson McCall left. They were also under a new head coach this year, so probably won't see him get drafted. Maybe an undrafted free agent signing somewhere, but doubt that he makes it on draft day. Next is the 397th ranked prospect and the number 18 tight end. This is maybe he's Oklahoma again. I'm pretty sure he's South Carolina. I don't know. These guys have transferred so much. This is Austin Stoner. So he did originally play at Oklahoma with Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. Transferred to South Carolina with Rattler, excuse me. And he's been a prospect for a number of years now. Really hasn't caught on anywhere to become a big name. So doubt that he gets drafted. Next is the 362nd ranked prospect and the number 8 kicker. And with kickers, you never really know who is where they're going to get drafted or who is going to get drafted. A lot of the top kickers end up not making the league, and then guys that you've never even heard of become the next Pro Bowler. But this is South Alabama's Diego Guajardo. So if you guys remember from the video where I got him, he not only signed my photos, he included extras of his own, which were signed, some really cool merch, and signed cleats that he had owned. So really, really cool to have him in the collection. Hope to see him get drafted, but I would like to at least see him make an NFL team. Next up, I believe, is our first quarterback on the list. He is the 319th ranked prospect and the 16th quarterback. This is Maryland's Taulia Tagovailoa. I may have messed up his first name. My apologies there. This was a purchase that I had from the first year of Bowman University. Some really nice cards, great autographs in there. And at the time, I think I got it for $10, and he was still playing. So figured that would be worth it. The younger, I think he's a brother or cousin of Tua. I don't remember exactly which. Had some decent passing stats with Maryland, a team that's not super well known in the college landscape for being like a dominant team or whatnot. They had some good players, decent seasons. He put up good numbers. Probably a good chance he doesn't get selected unless it's like a late 7th round flyer from some team that looks at him to be a backup project or something like that. But still, he is on the list. Next is the next best ranked quarterback. He is the 317th overall prospect and number 15 for quarterbacks. This is Western Kentucky's Austin Reed. Reed benefited from playing with Western Kentucky for, I think, 2 seasons after transferring from a Division II school. And Western Kentucky is just big on the air raid offense kind of style, just big yards, big stats for their players. He's played well and everything. I think the draft stock probably fell a bit after the Bailey Zappi experiment with the Patriots, who was another lower division transfer to Western Kentucky, put up big numbers, made it to the NFL, and then just hasn't really done too much. Zappi is a decent quarterback and has a couple of wins. Apologies for the cat interruptions. She's not going to stop. But Reed was a fun player to watch. Maybe an undrafted guy for some training camps. Next, we get to the 304th ranked prospect, and he is the 13th outside linebacker. This is Wyoming's Easton Gibbs. Decent player in his own right, and again, playing at Wyoming, probably not the most well-known prospect. Chance to be a 6th or 7th rounder, who knows? But happy to have him in the collection. We got another quarterback here. This guy is right on the line of being a draftable player. Had a very long college career, so there is a lot of tape that teams will be able to watch. This is the 278th overall prospect, 12th ranked quarterback out of BYU, Kedon Slovis. So Slovis was actually the guy who took over for JT Daniels when he got injured at USC, and the very same thing happened to Slovis. Got injured, got replaced by another guy who was very exciting, and then Daniels, Slovis, and the guy who replaced him, I think that was Jackson Dart, all ended up leaving USC. So a very strange set of circumstances for USC quarterbacks for quite some time. But Slovis was a very good player for USC, and then I think he transferred twice. Because he played USC and then definitely BYU, but I feel like he transferred from, I think he played at Pitt for some time as well. So a very well-traveled, one of these, strange stories that we're going to see in college sports end here soon with the extra year of COVID eligibility going away for guys who had very, very long college careers in several different eras of playing. Whether he gets drafted or not, that's going to be up in the air. Because again, teams are going to have a lot of tape to watch. Obviously, not from the year that he was injured, but it's also he's an older prospect, given all of his time in college football. So who knows? But we shall see. Next is the number 2 ranked punter in the nation, at least for the upcoming draft. He's the 202nd overall prospect. This is Vanderbilt's Matthew Hayball. Really tried to get Iowa's Torrey Taylor a couple times, but never heard back. I don't think I've seen anyone get success from him. But still glad to have a punter that could potentially make it into the NFL. We'll keep with the special teams theme here with the number 1 ranked kicker in this upcoming NFL draft. 192nd overall. This is Stanford's Joshua Carty. I want to say he also had some punting duties as well, as a lot of top-end college players do double duty on that. So, we'll see how teams evaluate him going into the draft, but should be good enough to get drafted into the league. Then we have our one running back that was on the list. I had another one that I had gotten, but I couldn't find him on the list. He's either too lowly ranked or he's transferring or he's done with football. I don't know for sure. But this is 148th overall player, 9th best ranked running back from Southern Miss, Frank Gore Jr. Definitely look at him being a guy that could maybe even rise up just because of his name. His dad, I think, second or third all time in rushing now, probably third. But, just a fantastic player for Southern Miss for several years. And then this past year really wasn't that good, at least for the first half of the season. It looked like his numbers were just super far down compared to what rankings were having him and everything. He did have a couple of decent games. He also showed his athleticism at being able to play quarterback for the team in pinch spots. So a sneaky athletic guy. Well, I guess not really sneaky if it's pretty well known. But definitely a name to keep an eye on going into the draft. Then we have a tight end here. This is the 135th overall ranked player and number 6 tight end from Kansas State, Ben Sinnott. Decent player, pretty good production for a Kansas State team that maybe not the greatest offensive team in the nation, but they definitely ran a lot through him. Decent player, seems like a good end zone or red zone target, so we'll see how he does. Got another quarterback here, potential, backup material, spot starter here and there. This is the 109th overall ranked prospect and 8th quarterback from Tulane, Michael Pratt. He was just a guy that I decided to write to, try to find players who were, definite starters for the team, maybe weren't, anywhere towards the top of the statistical leaderboards or anything, but just guys who it looked like they would have some time to play. And Pratt was one of those guys. I think he had some injuries this year, which really hurt his draft stock. But Draft Tech likes what they see to rank him almost in the top 100, despite those injury concerns. Now we are into the top 100 with a safety here. This is the 98th overall prospect and 8th best rated safety from Maryland, Bo Braid. I think this is one of the last ones that I got. Seems like a fairly recent return. Decent safety, obviously, if he's being, talked about in the top 100 prospects for the NFL, should get drafted. I don't really have a lot to say about defensive backs. I'm just not great at watching them and being able to speak about them, but that's a nice one. Then we have, I think, my top-rated wide receiver, and this is also a very recent return. This is the 91st overall player and 18th ranked wide receiver, so that shows you how deep this class is. From Western Kentucky, Malachi Corley. Because of Western Kentucky's air proficiency, I decided I was going to write to their top target, at least at the time. I don't know. I think he finishes the top receiver for WKU this year. But a little bit surprised to get it back. I haven't had a ton of luck with Western Kentucky as far as their football program goes, other than quarterbacks. So that was a nice one to see come back in. Decent wide receiver. He put up, I think, better numbers in prior years. And then this year was still good, just not his best season from what I could find. Then we're getting into some of the top picks here. This is the 64th ranked player, the 3rd ranked of the offensive guards. This is Kansas State's Cooper Beebe. So Cooper I got, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, and he was looking to be one of the top prospects for last year's draft, but he decided he was going to stay at Kansas State another year. And he basically stayed around the same spot in terms of his draft rankings. So, it's an okay move. Teams will be getting a guy that's 1 year older, but probably will be able to develop faster into the NFL. So, cool one there. This is another recent return. This is the 55th overall ranked prospect and the 3rd best center, as according to Draft Tech, West Virginia's Zach Frazier. It took so long to get this one back that I completely forgot I ever even wrote to him. But this will continue the theme of offensive linemen as we go into the next one. This is the 47th best ranked prospect and the number 2 center, according to Draft Tech. This is Duke's Graham Barton. I think I'd seen a number of people get this guy back, so very cool to the fans. So nice to have that one in the collection. Then we get to our first round prospects. First one is the 17th overall ranked player. Number 1, defensive line 3 tech player, which I don't know football enough to understand what that means, but good enough for a first round grade on this guy. This is Illinois' Jershawn Newton. This guy has basically been considered a top 15, top 20 pick the entire year that he was playing. And so for him to still be in that spot says good things about him. Excited to see where he goes. Then we have our last quarterback of the list, at least for who I have. And this is the 5th quarterback, according to Draft Tech. This is Washington's Michael Penix Jr. I was wrong last year. I said it was a mistake that he would go back for another season to Washington after having one really good year there and was kind of getting some, second, third round grades to his name. And I was wrong. This guy balled out for another season, heck of a year, had a great team around him, made the national championship. Unfortunately, didn't win. I was really hoping to see them, along with Kalen DeBoer, win. But Penix had a fantastic year. I've been watching him since he was at IU. So again, he's going to be one of those older prospects because he played for several seasons at IU and then 2 with Washington. But it's better for some teams that are looking for a guy who can play sooner rather than later. We'll have to make some adjustments to make it at the pro level. But considering he's the 5th best quarterback in most rankings and 16th overall, first round grade there, some team's going to get themselves a pretty good quarterback. Just hopefully everything works out and he can, put it all together at the next level. And the best overall rated player, according to Draft Tech, of the prospects that I have autographs of for this year, is the 11th overall prospect. He's the 3rd rated offensive tackle. This is Talise Fuaga from Oregon State. So not a lot to say in terms of, I don't know X's and O's when it comes to the offensive line. But this was a really exciting one to get back because I knew that he had a first round grade on him as well. He's kept that even through the combine. So hopefully maybe he can slip in to be a top 10 pick. But if not, still first round grade on a guy is always really fun to have. So that is it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Did you write to any of these players and get them back? Are there any 2024 NFL draft prospects that you wrote to that I don't have and got heard back from? We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So that is it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Best luck with your guys' collecting. Take care.